Hello and welcome to Stampscapes Live or the Stampscapes Replay, whatever one you happen to be checking out. I wanted to finish off a couple scenes here. One is pretty much done, but I was thinking about something that could be interesting on it as some finishing touches in the form of some red apples to just kind of match that little character, the fishing boy's red shirt. And then this one right here, which was just demonstration on the difference in usage between low contrast, cloudy backgrounds for photo stamping and high contrast ones, okay? This one right here, I thought we would just go with it. It has a real muted type of background going on, and we talked a little bit in the Friday Night Live photo stamping video about the different uses of these types of backgrounds and where you would use them. This one right here kind of looks like a real muted, foggy background, and I thought I would kind of play on that idea a lot more with the use of vellum. Okay, now we talked about vellum too in that live stream, and I thought I would utilize it on this piece right here. So it can be potentially pretty interesting as far as kind of the foundation of this, I don't know, whatever scene, and coupled with the tone of the background. Okay, so on this right here, if you haven't watched these videos, this is dye-based inks on photo paper, okay? Glossy photo paper. Not to be mistaken with glossy cardstock, okay? They're different types of things, but you can use dye-based inks on either one of those, okay? All right, so let's just finish this piece off. This one's going to be a pretty quick scene here, and hopefully you like the look of photo stamping coupled with vellum. Hello, Linda! I wanted to finish off a couple of these pieces here that we did. I sat down to do something else, but I thought, let's finish this off. I really want to, I don't know, utilize some vellum on it. We talked about vellum so much. I think a lot of people like the vellum look, you know, on Friday, so we got talking about that quite a bit in the photo stamping video, but you know, you gotta just go wherever you know, wherever the subject leads. Snowy texture right here, just completing this snowy covered bridge foundation here with those extra land textural forms to each side. That's what we haven't been doing. That's what I haven't been adding on with the Mystic series. The Mystic series is a bunch of like isolated things not connected at all except through the you know, mist or clouds or just negative space. So it seems kind of strange going in here and adding this in. Although I've done, you know, the background of these meadowy types of things, but I don't know. Interesting dynamic with the non-connected images. Okay, so let me see here. Hello, Candy. How are you? I don't have a printer. Would love these cloud backgrounds. I got mine printed at Costco, Candy. Oh, let's see here. I'm gonna go with the trees here. Yeah, a lot of times it's cheaper if you have a bunch of these cloud things to, you know, print out. You know, and if you get 20 prints or something like that, I don't know how much they are now. They might, I thought they used to be 10, 15 cents or something like that each. So when I'm having a bunch of things printed out, you know, home printer inks, if you're printing a lot of things, it's probably cheaper just to, you know, have them printed elsewhere. But I don't know the prices lately. I just had a bunch printed at one time. Okay, so these trees right here, I'm going to stamp them out in, I think, a light tone, and this is going to go over the top of it, okay? So something a little bit darker than this might be better. I tell you what, I'm going to mix it right here. I'm going to go with a little bit of gray, if my pad is okay. Yeah. I'm going to go like that with the gray. And then I'm going to mix in some of my... this pad right here is starting to crumble on me. I forgot about that. I can use this to tone in, but for impressions, not so great. So let me see. Here we go. Okay. Bluish gray, okay? Because I'm mixing this with the gray on there. Our first Costco is coming to Arkansas. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I mean, wherever you have, I don't know, do you have like a CVS that still prints, or, you know what I mean? Like a local drugstore type of thing? You know, that used to have, I know that you all used to have photo printing services where you just order it and you go in and pick it up. They probably don't have it in terms of having their own printer, but those different types of places might still have the service. Or you can just order from places like Shutterfly or something like that. You just upload your files and order them. But I don't know, if you just look up something like photo printing services or something like that online, you'll probably find a lot of different options these days. I'm just saying that, right? On Flickr, it's expensive because it's like it's like an art, you know what I mean? Like a semi-serious photo printing place, so it's a lot more expensive that way. It's probably better quality prints though, but I would just download them and just upload them somewhere for purchase. All right, so this is my masking here. You can see we don't need to mask off super seriously at all, you know. I'm just masking off kind of the lighter areas, and then we're just getting in this Pine Row gray blue mixture here. But Costco, yeah, Costco, they all used to have, you know, photo printing areas, but they're all gone, so it's all online now. Okay, so just a very slight background of trees in there. Now, the one thing for me is when we're utilizing vellum over the top of it, you just have to stamp things out that are dark enough for them to see, you know, for them to show through your translucent vellum, so it's going to really get knocked back like that, okay? And here's the other thing I was thinking about, something that's interesting too. Okay, now we're not always going to use vellum. You know, it's kind of a specialty type of thing that you're merging with whatever you're doing in the background, if that's the way you're going to use vellum. But I can't really use, say, something like colored pencils on here. I can color this with, you know, alcohol inks, or I don't know, maybe some dye bastings, La Plumes, Tombos, that type of thing. The alcohol inks you can kind of mix and develop on here, but you can't use something like colored pencils, okay, because I didn't do that blocking out white background with the Brilliance ink. But here's the interesting thing. If I put this over the top of it, vellum you can use colored pencils on. So suddenly this became a really, I don't know, whatever, malleable surface in which to color with whatever type of media you want. Dye-based inks, alcohol inks, colored pencils, I don't know, maybe some other hard media. I'm not really sure, but yeah. London drugs for Linda. One day, very reasonable. Yeah, I don't know. Have you had anything printed out recently, Linda? I haven't even checked the prices lately. Or yours would be Canadian though, so I'm not. But okay, Walgreens. Great tip, Verna. Hello, Verna. Hello, Debbie. Verna, these are the Pine Row right here, 150E. Okay, so I am going to go and spray seal this. I should maybe say back soon. Give me I don't know, give me about 2 minutes here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a a spray adhesive, and we'll spray it right over the top of that. I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to add anything back on here first before I do this, because once this is, sealed over the top of it, that I can't do anything in the background anymore. I can add things on the foreground, but, if I want to add in some kind of cloudy backgrounds or something like that, now's the time to do it, of course. I think I'm just going to keep this one like super simple, though. And we'll just do anything that we're going to do to this as an additive over the top of the vellum here. So, okay. So if anyone joins in here on this impromptu thing while I'm gone for a couple minutes, I'll say back in a minute. Sprain. Okay, so remember, you're not going to spray the vellum because it's too floppy. You're going to spray the thing that's, a little bit stiffer, be it whatever. I guess if you're using a super, thick vellum or something like that in a real flimsy background, you can do the vellum. But we'll get this sprayed and I'll be right back. Okay, easy work of spraying, with your adhesive. I don't know if you can see this. I hope it's picking up a little bit. I'd really recommend spray adhesives for anyone. It makes for, great card making, I don't know, adhesive evenness, okay? I'm starting to look at some of my older cards that I've used my just, regular tape, runner with, and sometimes the pieces get a little bit buckled over the years, and the thing about the spray adhesive is that it's just really even and permanent. So okay, so this is going on. I'm getting a little bit of patterning where there's the sealant was a little bit thicker. And on these 4x6s, I don't really get too many bubbles ever. Sometimes when I start going half page, though, I might get a little bit of a bubble in here, and I kind of have to work it out a little bit more. And sometimes if you're pressing a little bit more, you'll get a little bit more of that sealant kind of adhesive patterning a little bit. And I'll show you what that looks like here, okay? If you can see it here. Now, I know this is out of focus a little bit, but hopefully you can see it's a little bit darker. It's a little bit spotty, okay? Where you can see it. It doesn't really bother me, just because there's nothing I can do about it, too. But I have had some sealants where it was like a really old can, and I don't have that. I didn't bring my can in here, but on that spray tip, there was this buildup right here. And it was causing like some spattering where I'd get like a blob of glue, and then that little circle of glue, you know what I mean? It looks a little bit, it makes the vellum more transparent, and thus the things that are in back there that you're adhering to it are darker, okay? I don't know, I just do things. I'll put a little white pigment ink over the top of it, I'll stamp something over the top of it, I'll just make do with that. But, but for the most part, I don't know, it goes on pretty smooth, and it's instant, so, and it's like super easy to do. It really takes all the, I don't know, it removes, I think, the most amount of variables as you know, in comparison to like, you know, applying glue by hand with some like sponging method over the top of something too. And I guess if I was doing that with something like this, you know, with all this acrylic paint pen work and other things in there, I think that the spray adhesive, you know, the spray adhesive that you just spray right over the top of it, it's the least intrusive of all types of things that you're going to do that. That's if you're kind of applying an adhesive or a glue over the top of, you know, something that has, you know, a decent amount of media applied to it. This one didn't, you know, it's just dye-based ink. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Okay, so this is going to look, I want this to look real deep in terms of space because that's one of the really kind of benefits of using that vellum. It's that translucent, kind of real misty, textural type of quality that you get. You know, everything's a little bit muted. So I'll play that a little bit more against stronger contrasting foreground images, which you don't have to do. You can have everything is like really muted and there's no like strong blacks or anything like that in here. But I'm gonna do that just to push contrast in here and kind of visual texture. Okay, so let's see. 20 cents Canadian right there. Okay, for prints. Ordering multiple copies, yeah. Did you get all yours in, you probably had an option between matte and glossy. Hello, Sue. Hello, Froggy Fresh. Okay, let's see. All right, let's get a little bit of tone laid down in here. I think this is kind of fascinating in terms of the colored pencil. Kind of ability over the top of this imagery. So it's, I don't know, I guess you can use vellum as a way to utilize colored pencils with on top of photographs without doing any blocking out, you know. So it's another way to do it. I've always been doing it with Brilliance ink, you know, because the colored pencils will stick, you know, adhere to the Brilliance ink. But this is another way to do it, of course. But of course, you're doing it over, you know, a more muted impression of whatever you're covering. So instead of, you know, whatever, 95% gray, almost black, this is like more like a 70%. I think the vellum probably knocked out about 30% of the darkness. I'm, you know, roughly. All right, so this, I'm just going to make this into a snowy scene. So blue tones usually is what I use. And I just kind of darken my darker areas within the design. I'm just staying within the design. See these, here's these darker kind of, you know, textures right here on the road. Whatever, tire impressions or whatever. Or the absence of tire impressions, I guess. Right here, and that is just one tone of blue. Let's add a little bit of a tone to this bridge. I'm kind of boring with my bridge colors. I usually just do it like a natural wood. I should do them like red or something like that sometime. And then here's some black. I'm not going to do too much because, again, you know, background, it's going to be more of a muted. Kind of muted color scheme, or a muted value range, maybe more specifically. Fences right here, yeah, getting a little bit of a shadow work underneath it. I'm just using this black here very, very lightly for like a, I don't know, maybe like a 10% gray, 5%. You know, in other words, I'm just going like this with it, you know, really lightly. You know, just to bring out the forms a little bit more. I guess going a little bit darker around here, it's making the road a little bit lighter too by contrast. Here's a different blue. I used this more kind of jeweled turquoisey blue before. I mean, we can go for the same type of look on just whatever type of paper, you know, semi-gloss, matte cardstock or something like that. Um, but what you would do is you can either stamp this image out in black, but do one impression first and then, you know, go for the second impression where it's just lighter to begin with. But I don't know. There is kind of this vellum has its own kind of character, and I don't know, has everyone used colored pencils on vellum before? I really like the feel of it. You know, I'm into textures and you know, the kinesthetics of stamping. So I really like the feel of colored pencils on this vellum. I don't know. I guess the vellum's kind of smooth, but it's also kind of slippery, you know, and that kind of, I don't know, kind of plasticky but textured kind of, you know, feeling to it. So I do like using this combination here. I don't do it enough, though. I don't know. Haven't done it like a lot over the years, but I really like it when I do it. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what images I want to use in the foreground here. I might go with I might just go with pines and rocks here. Something like this right here, and maybe down here a little bit. This would be stamping right on the road, but if I can get a little bit there just to kind of frame things off a little bit, that might be good. So wall grains for prints then. And yeah, 20 cents. So yeah, usually when you're having things printed out, well, I mentioned this the other day, but I'm not sure if there's like if they ask you or they ask you the size for sure, and it's usually matte or glossy, and then it's getting in the way here. Here we go. I think there might be an option for borderless, or not. Choose borderless on your prints. You know, so you don't get that white border around them like this. Okay, you want it more like this. In my opinion, you know, I don't know. I think this border's going to get in our way usually. That's if you're printing at home too. It's usually one of those options that comes up. Hello, Otter Eyes, Rochelle. I do Pergamo white work on vellum. Pergamano. I know that that's a brand, right? Colored pencils and watercolors all the time. That sounds like a great combination there. Debbie's cat's walking all over her. All right. I'm going to go with the stays on the front here. I just want something that's going to dry nice and fast here. All right. can't remember if I've used a lot of StazOn on vellum. I hope it works here. It should, right? I'm usually using Brilliance black, I think. Yeah, works fine. I don't know. Someone, StazOn didn't, was it StazOn that didn't work on something, Linda? Someone was running into StazOn not drying on something. It was like foil or something like that, and I was shocked about that. Because I knew someone that used StazOn on like metal. I don't know if it was directly on metal. I thought it was, but it might have been on gesso or something like that. I knew someone that they didn't only stamp on that, but they did a lot of saw blades. Okay. All right. I know that tree's right in the middle of that road, but I don't know. This is like an abandoned roadway here, and this tree grew in the last 50 years. Okay, so anyways, really pushing depth within the piece, using the vellum to really kind of push back the background like this. This would be a really great place for a quote or word stamp, I think. That's another great thing about vellum too. It really knocks things back. So unless you have a lot of like super high contrast, like this, if I was going to do this and, I covered it up like that, that's still a lot of contrast to stamp some word stamp across there. It'd go like dark, light, dark, you know what I mean? If you stamped it in black against that background, I don't know if it would show very much, but, like this whole area in here, it's, if you stamp black over the top of all this right in here, I mean, that might be okay. It depends on the font if it was bold enough, but that would be kind of cool. All right, so let's see. As I'm blabbing away, I'm just waiting for the StazOn to dry a little bit more. And then let's go with some pen work, okay? Our acrylic 0.7 millimeter paint pen. And I don't know, maybe I'll put some snowfall in here or something like that. I don't know, I'll have to think about something for this upper portion right here. Like I said, like a word stamp or, I don't know, we need something up there. But okay, so adding some highlights. Boy, this acrylic paint pen, this is like the best surface I've ever used this paint pen on. A lot of the times I'm using this paint pen over kind of a real slick surface. But this paint pen is really, really flowing over this textured vellum here for me. It's kind of interesting, too, with this paint pen. I mean, I've used the paint pen on these things before, but I don't know. It seems like it's flowing a lot more. But that white, I'm guessing, will stay like that white because, this vellum's not going to be absorbing the ink, the paint that's been applied to it as much as like a cardstock. So I don't know. I can just tell right now I don't think it's going to fade out as much as it does on a lot of other media. And maybe the fact that I stamped out the trees there in a solvent black as opposed to like a water-based black. Maybe just the white isn't merging with it at all, where maybe the other ones does in some kind of minute quantity. Okay, so left side of these trees, I'm highlighting with this white, okay? The left side of the right side trees and the right side of the left side trees are being highlighted. So I'm creating this, there's not really a sense of lighting in here. There's nothing obvious coming from, the sky, like a sun or a moon or anything like that. I don't have real, I didn't add direction to my shadows. So these little highlights can be something where you're kind of defining the direction of your lighting just based on, where things are being illuminated. So it's being illuminated, in this case, from the interior like that. Okay. And it just kind of draws the attention inward in kind of a subtle way. For a muted look, stamp on the back side of the vellum. That's a really great technique there as well. I didn't do it on this one right here because we're dealing with too much depth, but I love that look there. So stamp on your ground, back, and front of the vellum, like Rochelle is saying, and that makes for a really fantastic spatial depth that you can kind of play around with and not have to create on a single surface, which is really fun work. The tree is in front of the road. I like this barn. Do you have gravel road or path stamps? Dirt road, yeah. The dirt road, 374G, I think it is. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of highlighting on top of this roof here too. Even though that roof is kind of like way in the background like that. Okay. So just, I don't know, it's adding a little bit of extra snow maybe or something like that on it. Like that. And then, why not add a little bit on this fence like this, okay? So if you add it on certain things like that rooftop, it kind of stands out. So you have to kind of bring in other elements that are being treated the same way, just so there's a little bit more continuity between that, I don't know, whatever application and other areas, okay? All right, so there's that, and we have this road down here with snow, and snow is very reflective. I can add some of this into areas that I didn't tone out. Okay. And it's given it that little glistening type of sharp thing. It's interesting, because the things that are really usually defined in this type of setting right here are the images that are stamped nice and crisp and dark and everything like that. But now this is like a muted version of it. So these little dots are like the things that are kind of in the most in focus, you can say. So I don't know. It's another one of those little playful types of, I guess applications, with this type of combination here. Okay, so I'm looking at these dots here on the vellum, and those are much stronger white than they often are on top of, I don't know, single surface, whatever scenes, I think. All right, so there's that. I'm starting to kind of, as I apply this, all this different media on top of it, I'm starting to kind of lose the, kind of the notion of that being such a different background as opposed to foreground, everything in front of the vellum. Like I don't know, it's starting to kind of incorporate in a little bit more, I'm finding. I don't know, to me. Not that it should, but that's just, I don't know. That's my whatever observation here. Okay, so I'm going to give this a little bit of snowfall over the top here. Okay. This is, if you don't know what this is Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which is a very, very opaque watercolor paint. Okay. And I'm just using an old toothbrush. It's like my most valuable tool, I think, in my I don't know, supplies is this old toothbrush. I think you can still get them, but I was mentioning on another video, one time someone went looking for like a toothbrush. I mean, you can find it like a stiff, another type of stiff brush too. It doesn't have to be a toothbrush, but it's something with some nice stiff bristles. But I was shocked that when I went looking for just a non, very very plain cheap toothbrush, I couldn't find them. They all had those little rubber gum stimulators on them, like even the cheapest ones. I couldn't just find anything just really basic like that. So anyways, here's some of that snowfall on there. Okay, look at my hand there, got splattered too. So I don't know, you can add some other things in here. Like I said, I don't know, I should probably add something else in here that might look kind of interesting. But again, the fun of vellum. Okay, so if you just joined in, this was stamped on top of a very muted photograph. Okay, so this is combining you can't really see the photo in the background anymore, but it was a cloud, it was a low contrast, type of background like this that I stamped on top of with dye-based inks, with the snowy covered bridge and the pine row to each side of it like that. We added a spray adhesive over the top of it, and then just took a piece of vellum and adhered that to the background. And the things that are over the front of the vellum are the pines and rocks, stamps right here. One impression here, one impression over here in black stays on. And then I colored before I stamped these trees in here, but this is a colored pencil work on the top of the vellum, okay? And paint pen work with the white paint pen, and then the splatter painted bleed proof white. So we're a little late in the season, I know, for this, but or year for doing winter scenes or something like that. But I don't know, they're always kind of fun to do. So I don't know, I'll get this matted and formatted, but I was going to do some vellum application with this because I already have like a couple. I did this scene like several times already. And I thought about adding this over the top of it just to, put them out like in a real kind of foggy, muted morning or something like that. And, I'd put some stronger trees right here, but I already had the fences here. So I thought, stronger, darker trees in the foreground like that. With these fences right here, I didn't want to do that. So, but one of the things I was thinking about with this is I thought I want to just finish this off. I was thinking, it'd be really awesome with this red shirt right here, red apples in these trees, or a few in these trees, and that would really kind of, I don't know, kind of create a cohesion between the figure and their surroundings there. So. I thought I would try that. I haven't added like that fruit on my trees. I don't think yet. I'm trying to think if I've ever done like coconuts on my palm trees in the past. I think I have. I think someone asked me for that one time years ago, maybe like in a demonstration or something like that. But I don't remember. So we'll do it here. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for joining in. Coming to us from Cindy's wonderful world. Great to have you. Hello, Rhonda. Let's see here. Not all toothbrushes are created equal. Too soft, most of them. Oh, yeah, we want them like stiff, huh? Like a medium to. So they're soft, medium, and what? They're not called hard, right? What are they called? They're not called stiff, right? I don't know. What's the firm maybe, right? Okay, so let's see here. I thought about how am I going to do apples? And you think, well, we think, well, that shouldn't be that hard. You just add red in there, right? But I want to do it where these apples are kind of, they're in various states, and not all apples, of course, are red, but like that would match that shirt a little bit. So I thought I would go, with some apples that are kind of greenish too, that aren't ripe yet, maybe. So maybe try something like that. I don't know if that would be my base right there. Color. Let's see, where's my, here's white. Yeah, this one right here. This one's not it. I think this is might even be gold. Okay, so something like this, I'm thinking, for those apples. I don't know. Let's see how it goes here. Let me see what this is going to look like anyway. I don't know. Has anyone made apples in a tree before? If you have, list your tips here. Okay, so there's a little bit of greenish, and then let's see. I think it'd be something like that. See, I don't want to just like have balls, in front of the thing, like I've, used a red hole punch or something like that and just punched out a bunch of red, I mean, that might look kind of cool in terms of stylish, but, or style, a real stylized apple, but I don't want that in this one. All right, so I'm going to add some of these types of things, and then we're going to go back in and we're going to put some leaves in front of some. Okay, so that's the idea. So they'll be at various depths, I think, within the tree. All right, so I'm going to establish where I'm going to position some of them with this pen, okay? It's like a beige or something like that. These aren't apple trees, I know, but we're making them apple trees. This one's a little bit farther back, so maybe I'll make the apples a little smaller. Anyone have an apple tree in their yard? I grew up with a apple tree that my brother planted, I guess, when he was little. So throughout my youth through high school, we had homegrown apples. Ours was a golden delicious, but we grew up eating those, and it was years before I can kind of eat any other apple before, without kind of comparing it or whatever to the homegrown apples. They always tasted, so, I don't know, whatever, inferior to the homegrown, vine ripened apples. Okay, let's see. A little green to it, like so. Like that. You guys probably can't even tell where I've added it. Maybe you can a little bit. Okay, let's see. Firm. Thank you, Rochelle. My apples are always red for contrast. Okay. trying to find where I can't even find those dots where I added in. Okay, let's see. I guess it doesn't look too bad just to do that whole red dot, because when I added that dot using that first color right here, I thought, oh, that looks kind of interesting. So I think with these apples, I'm going to try to cluster them a little bit. I mentioned like people that are, when we're doing things like stars and things like that, using paint pens and adding those types of touches, it seems to be kind of like a thing inside of us. I don't know, with a lot of us, including myself, when I observe people doing those types of things, it's like we create this kind of pattern of spacing these types of things that really stand out at equal distance from one another. So whenever I'm doing things like wildflowers or something like that, I have to make a conscious effort to kind of make it look a little bit more natural, and I cluster things together a little bit more, and then I spread it out. Otherwise, I'm going dot, 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 and they're all like a 1/4 inch apart from each other. All right, these little red dots they're not standing out kind of, they're not in a bad way as much as I thought they would. I thought it would look like everything's just like sticking like right in front over the trees, but this um, acrylic paint, it's a little bit more translucent, so you get some of the colors in the background kind of showing through a little bit more. So they're kind of inset. The apples are kind of more inset, I think. Within the tree a little bit more, so I guess I didn't need to do that kind of base coat, for variation with the other pen. Okay, so if I'm doing that, I should put like an apple on the road ground or something like that too. Because they do fall on the ground. Like that. I'll add some down there. And then, let me see. I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if I can add a little highlight to some of these. All right, so there's our apples. I don't need to come over the top of any with, additional green, I don't think. Like I said, they seem to be within the tree, and within the leaves, so I don't need to do that. But all right, so there's my apples there. Let me see something though. I'm seeing if I have a different. That's the only red I have like that. The other ones I have are kind of more pinkish or orange. I was going to say if I had a slightly warmer red, I might put a couple, different tones of red in there for apples. Like if I had a warm red, that one's more of like a neutral red, so something like that, yeah. So you can add fruit to your trees if you want to. What peaches, I don't know, plums and whatever. I'll do one that's golden delicious sometime, but the yellow wouldn't contrast against the green leaves as much. But I'll have to send one to my mom or something like that, or my brother who planted that tree. It's not there anymore. It got diseased or something like that, and I don't know, it came down. They kept trimming it back and trimming it back and trimming it back too much too. I think it was growing like crazy. But anyways, there's the finishing of two pieces like that. Photo stamping vellum splatter painted spray adhesive piece, using all those different types of, I don't know, whatever layers on there though. I mean, this card right here is a really fast card to do. That I think it looks reasonably rich and deep in terms of space. I'll format the card though; it'll look much better with that formatting. But and then this one right here, this is just your white blocking out of the bottom of another photograph. Okay, colored with colored pencil just directly on here, and all the paint pen work or something like that. But the paint pen work is, I don't know, it's like it's on this scene right here with all those green leaves, it's like an extreme embellishment right there. But again, it's just, I mean, these two pieces right here, the things that I find them to be reasonably simple in terms of the application is just because we're starting off with an inherent background that we don't have to do, not this one right here, but, just these photographic backgrounds in here, like that type of thing. You can do it whichever way you want and just, stamp over them with whatever type of media is going to stick to it. So here's the thing that for me was kind of interesting that I hadn't really thought about before was just using some vellum over the top of a photograph, like say something like this, I mean, it's naturally going to mute out that background like that, but I think that's still pretty dynamic of a surface to start off with like that. If you want to just stamp something right over the front of this vellum right here, and you'll have this background open to whatever types of media you want to use. Or, even more, like say, if you print something like this out onto cardstock, at home on your home inkjet printer or something like that, then, I don't. You have to test it out though, because if you print something like this out, as I mentioned on the live stream on Friday, you would just have to see what's going to adhere to the inkjet inks, because if you print this out on white cardstock or something like that, it's probably going to be a little bit more textural, where you might be able to add colored pencil over the top of it, but I'm not sure. Maybe the areas where there's color within your photo, maybe it's going to block off some of that. So I'm not sure, But the vellum certainly opens things up in terms of media surface compatibility, because you can do a lot of different media on the top of this type of vellum here. So I'm going to test things out and experiment around. And I don't know. I think the photo stamping kind of world is, I think we're in their kind of infancy, in terms of the utilization of it. So Froggy Fresh has a pear tree, and it stinks. Why does it stink? I haven't known anyone that's had a pear tree before. Peach tree, plum. Yeah. There's so many different types of pears. I wouldn't mind having that, what's that brown pear? I get those once in a while at the store. I don't usually buy the green ones though. Like I don't buy red apples hardly. I usually get the Fuji's or Honey Crisp now. Linda was born in Apple Country. My sister owned an apple orchard. Yeah. So if you ever went, like to, I don't know, unless they're getting some store where they're getting those apples, it's really hard to get to eat an apple that's, not kind of vine ripened or, you know what I mean? Good quality there. Make it a lemon or orange tree. Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. Yellow. That'd be cool. So yeah, one of the things, so going back to these fruit things like this, it's kind of fun, if you have someone, walking through a grove of trees, it would be kind of interesting to, always bring in, or not always, but you can bring in the colors of the whatever the person's wearing into the fruit, unless there's something kind of weird, I don't know if we're gonna, do like if someone's wearing purple, I don't think we're gonna put like eggplant up in their tree or something like that. But I don't know, it could be plums. Or pink would be cool and like a spring blossomy type of thing. I haven't really done that too much before, in terms of coordination, you know, with the surrounding area in terms of colors with the person's clothes, But like those, all those women, the reclining women imagery might be kind of interesting to, coordinate with colors or something like that. Or, just figures. You guys have a lot of figures from other companies too. I don't, typically I've always kind of done a bunch of silhouettes, because you can use them anywhere in scenes, but I'm starting to do like larger figures too, where you can kind of put them in different colors of, garments. So, fruit and blossom coordination. But I don't know, it kind of brings everything together. I like this one. I like this piece right here, better with the apples on it than not. I don't know, I don't know. It kind of ties everything together a little bit more, I think. Orange, yeah. An orange, I don't know. Yeah, we haven't done like fruits in general, huh? Have you seen? I'm trying to think if anyone on Facebook has done like a bunch of fruit and put fruit in trees, before. I don't remember too much of it, at least, or even like over the years. I think I have seen apples before in some trees, but yeah, the fruit additions have been kind of under explored, I would say, in general. Froggy Fresh has lemon, orange, and grapefruit tea in Ohio. Inside the winter and outside for the summer. Uh oh, yeah, like lemon tea or orange tea, like you have them in planters or something like that. That's cool. The only thing I've had, I think I had lemon verbena, not tea, but I think we've used that in tea before. Candy's planted a plum tree. First fruit. My youngins were so proud. Oh, that's what a great memory. That is so awesome. We have a picture of my brother that I can still picture in my mind. It's this black and white photo of him next to the tree with the first apples on there. So yeah, that's a great thing to do with kids, and edibles like that, harvesting. Glad you like the apples in there, CM. Hello, Paula. Loving this little bit I am seeing. Oh, thanks for joining in, Paula. Glad you can join in. This one was, I didn't start anything from scratch on this one. I just wanted to finish these pieces off. So if you just joined in here, what we did was, we were talking about photo stamping on Friday, and when to use high contrast photos over low contrast ones. And we got talking about different usages of photos with things like vellum, and that's what this one is right here. You can't really see, this was a low contrast photo in there, but vellum on this piece making for a really easy kind of, but real spatially effective usage of this combination of media here, surfaces. And this one right here, we just added apples. So I can't wait. I'm going to format these into cards. But I don't know. When I start some types of little experiments or demonstrations, and I look at the scene over a course of a couple days, I really feel like finishing them off, I'm not manic about it or something like that, like I have to finish or something like that. But I don't know, sometimes things occur to me after the initial demonstration as far as some additions. So this one was just the apples in here. So I don't know if anyone can see it in here, but so those are those red dots in here, and I can't zoom in super close. It's probably going to go out of focus right here. But one of the things I'm looking at right here that I think was pretty effective was we added those red apples in with the, I added it in with a 3mm. I guess you could do the whole, those larger kind of dots with, the 0.7mm extra fine. It just take longer to do because you're scribbling like a whole circle and then kind of filling it in. Okay, but what I'm getting at here is I added that little, just a dot of like highlighting on each one of those apples like that. And I think it made them look a little bit more kind of three-dimensional. Just having that little bit of a, specular light on there. On that just, an otherwise kind of flat looking red, dot in there. So just like all these types of things like this, when you see something kind of shiny like this, you have this highlighting right here that's reflecting the light. And that's what those little types of things that you can do on your pieces. I think I highlighted the fence here too, but all those little things like that, those little highlights like that with a white pen, or if you have a white gel pen, they can really add that kind of three-dimensional extra touch to it. And plus it's like lighting and texture too, but it just really makes things look a little more three-dimensional. So yeah. Okay, so anyways, that's it with this live stream. Thanks to everyone for joining in. Let's see. Bradford pear trees flowers stink. That is interesting. So that's designed to attract the pollinator, right? I know some things in blossoms smell, right? And it's to attract the pollinators like that. Interesting. The addition of apples looks really good. So apples, yeah. So Linda on the Facebook group, it's the fruit tree challenge. We'll do like or whatever fruit additions to the trees or something like that, so people can add in like coconuts or dates to like palm trees, and someone could do a Bradford pear tree. I'll look that one up. What colors are the flowers? Probably white on that pear tree, the stinking one. We'll do these trees in full blossom. We'll call them the Bradford pear, and then I'll stamp in, instead of like a little fishing kid in here, I have this one stamp called Running Kids. It's just a silhouette of them kind of running, maybe they have to, every time they walk through the canopy of the Bradford pears, they hold their breath and they run through there. All right, so folks, photo stamping. Now, you can go to my Flickr gallery and choose the cloud album, or just take your own photos and print them out. So a lot of times, the latest printers too. I think you can just go directly from your phone, if that's what you're taking your photos with, and I think you can print out just directly from your phone too. So that makes it really cuts out a lot of the steps, as far as that goes. But yeah, all kinds of different things. I need to get like some different types of photos too, and sunsets and different color twilights and whatnot. But all those types of things are fun to use with your scenes. So and it removes in many cases, a lot of the work too. So, yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of evening and a great next week. Bye, everyone.